for companies which are not bound either by the rules and regulations of PLI that you have a particular deadline to do, or they are already underway their capex, do you reckon that some of them or a lot of them might delay the advent or the initiation of their capex any which ways currently, simply because the material costs and the availability of material is a big challenge right now? I mean, would the IRRs of any capex project might get extended quite a bit simply because of the way the steel prices and some of the other raw material prices are any which ways?
The plans which have already been unveiled, I don't see any rollback out there. Okay, because businesses are in the business of growth, and if you don't do it, somebody else is going to come and do it. That's the nature of a market-led economy. That's what free markets are all about, and that's what will happen. So if I don't do, you will do, and so on and so forth. So I don't see that to be a challenge currently. But if we get into this, remain in this phase for maybe 2-3 quarters down the line, maybe fresh capex plans may get deferred. But otherwise, I don't see currently, because I'll tell you what, Neeraj, I'm seeing for the first time a sense of competitiveness, which means that race to scale, which means that companies are now beginning to sense that if we do not scale, we are going to be left behind in the race. Okay, and so that's also driving things. Number one. Number two is there's again a significant opportunity which has got sensed in terms of exports with the situation in China and all of that. That whole China plus thing, and if there is one country which seems to be a direct beneficiary, then it is India, because we have a large domestic market as well as we essentially have the ability to manufacture and export. So to that extent, that's one round of opportunity which has emerged, which I think I have not seen in the last 5 to 10 years. That itself is quite a significant opportunity, which will compel businesses to go out there and expand capacity. Your moment is now. If not now, then when? Which means that if you don't expand now and don't start exporting, then when will you basically do this? So this is the best opportunity to basically do this. So my sense is that I still think that the kind of scale at which the Indian economy is at, that where we are close to a $3 trillion economy, I don't think private capex itself is going to be sufficient. The government capex will have to complement the private capex if we want to basically kind of sustain a high single-digit growth rate for our economy.
So, Nilesh, therefore, if we are, and maybe this is a conversation that we should have on Alpha Moguls a couple of months down the line, but I'm still sneaking in that if you were doing your portfolio construction right now, and do let me know if you're sitting on some bit of oodles of cash currently, but for the non-cash part, are you thinking of, or are you already involving companies that will benefit from this capex revival, both local as well as global? I reckon global capex too at some point of time will be center stage with all that's happening around the world.
Oh, absolutely, Dheeraj. I mean, clearly, at least I can say that all our incremental idea generation is entirely, pretty much, I wouldn't say entirely, but significantly focused on businesses which we think will essentially do well because of essentially a capex cycle, because of increased intensity of manufacturing, increased competitiveness of manufacturing, and then of course the whole initiatives around indigenization in defense and those kind of things, and of course again a revival in essentially the CV side of the auto space. So clearly these are clearly the areas where our entire focus is basically going on to, that which are the kind of businesses which are going to witness a spurt in demand over the next few years because of this capex cycle, which we think is already started to play out and is kind of yet very, very early days, but might just kind of in a way sustain for many years to come. And then of course increased competitiveness of manufacturing-led businesses. These are some of the areas that we are already beginning to think about, ideate about, evaluate, and then of course some of our most recent positions in the portfolio are centered around these opportunities.
Interesting. So manufacturing, and that would be, I mean, everything from defense to PLI to textiles to what have you. I reckon the whole gamut.
Yes. Chemicals, auto components. These are all the areas which essentially I think are the areas which I think to us look good from a medium term perspective.
Got it.